It's been a little over 2 months since Google launched the Pixel 10 Pro series, and I've been testing out the Pixel 10 Pro XL since then, and I have some thoughts. While it looks identical to the Pixel 9 Pro XL, the experience feels a bit more refined overall. That being said, there are still a few small details worth pointing out. The Pixel 10 Pro XL doesn't bring huge changes, but the refinements are noticeable. I still think that this design looks great, and I'm loving this Moonstone color, so much that I ended up getting the Pixel Watch 4 in the same color to go with it. I was honestly surprised that Google didn't introduce any new camera hardware this year, but I do appreciate that the video stabilization is way smoother now. You can still see some jitters here and there, but it's not as obvious as it was with the Pixel 9. One area that really stands out is the haptics. Google has been refining them since the Pixel 3, and on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, they feel incredibly polished. It makes the phone more engaging to use, and even turns something as simple as typing into a very enjoyable experience. On the software side, I'm glad that Google finally brought back the light theme for the quick settings menu. I didn't like that the quick settings menu would always be in dark mode, so I'm happy that they made this change. What really stands out with the Pixel 10 Pro XL is the improvement in thermals. The phone no longer heats up after extended use, and even when I'm outdoors and I have the screen brightness set to max, it doesn't get too hot. It also runs cooler when it's wirelessly charging and wireless Android Auto is being used. Both of these scenarios will heat up my Pixel 9 Pro XL and would also drain my battery quickly, so I'm glad to see that this has improved. That's all thanks to the new Tensor G5 chip, which not only runs cooler but is also more efficient. It's a big step forward compared to last year's Tensor G4. While it still doesn't match the Snapdragon 8 Elite in raw power or benchmark scores, real-world performance has been great. The phone feels fast, smooth, and multitasking is solid. And so far, after using the Pixel 10 Pro XL for a little over a month and a half, I have no complaints in this area. So the Pixel 10 Pro XL now houses a 5200 mAh battery, a slight 200 mAh bump over last year's model. In day-to-day use, battery life feels pretty similar. On a typical weekday, I start my day at 8 AM with a full charge and usually end the day with about 20% remaining, and I get about 6 to 7 hours of screen on time on heavy usage. And keep in mind, this is with the max resolution, Bluetooth enabled, Wi-Fi on, always on display enabled, the 120Hz refresh rate active, and brightness hovering between 30 to 60%. Also keep in mind that battery saver and extreme battery saver are still an option, and those are still incredible. Turning one of those on can push the screen on time closer to 8 hours, which is pretty wild. So most of you should be able to get a full day out of this phone. The display also gets a boost this year. With the peak brightness reaching 3300 nits, I've never really had an issue with the Pixel 9 Pro XL screen, but this improvement makes the Pixel 10 Pro XL display even better. It looks fantastic and is easy to see in any lighting condition, and even under direct sunlight I had no issue seeing what was on the screen. Another noticeable improvement is how good the speakers sound. You can hear the difference instantly. The audio quality has gotten so much better that I actually find myself using the phone's built-in speaker to watch videos or listen to music way more often than before. I used to connect my Bluetooth speaker to it often, but now I'm perfectly fine just listening to music straight from the phone. One of the biggest new additions to the Pixel 10 series is the built-in magnets, which makes it MagSafe compatible, and Google calls it PixelSnap. Along with the slightly larger battery, these magnets add to the phone's overall weight and thickness compared to last year's model. The Pixel 10 Pro XL now weighs 232 grams, about 12 grams heavier than the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Honestly, I don't mind the extra weight since both the bigger battery and the PixelSnap feature are generally useful upgrades. So Google has some magnetic accessories that you can pick up with your new phone if you don't already have some MagSafe accessories. They have a PixelSnap ring stand, some PixelSnap cases, and a PixelSnap charger. So the PixelSnap feature is really nice to have on here. For those of you that like to go bare with your phone, you get to use your MagSafe accessories without needing to slap on a case or any other accessory to the back of the phone to make it compatible. So you get to keep a slim profile. For me personally, I like having a case on my phone, so it's not a huge deal for me, but it's really nice to have. The magnets on the Pixel 10 Pro XL are very strong, but if you put on a thick case, the magnet strength might diminish, so I would still recommend going with a MagSafe compatible case. If you're into rugged cases and still want to be able to use MagSafe accessories, then you might consider picking up this rugged case from today's channel sponsor, MagBag. So MagBag sent over their MagBag Elite case for the Pixel 10 Pro XL, and this is a very rugged case with raised lips on the front and corners, with some air cushion in the inside of the corners for better shock absorption. The case has one of the strongest built-in magnets, and they are telescopic, meaning they come out when you get them close to metal to provide a more secure and stronger contact. So not only does the case work with MagSafe products, but you can stick it onto any metal surface, which has been very handy. For a full protective experience, you can pick up their edgeless tempered glass screen protector that covers the entire screen, and it comes with a quick installation tool that makes it super easy to install. The best part is that the case has a small gap that lets the screen protector sit without being pushed out and creating bubbles, so you get that seamless installation. The case also features side grips and a retractable finger loop to ensure that you can keep a good grip on your phone to minimize drops. There's also a kickstand on here that sits flush and is held by a small magnet. The cool part is that you can customize the accents to go with your style. So MagMate was nice enough to hook you all up with a 15% discount code using my code at checkout. If you're interested in picking this up, I will leave the link and code in the description. With that being said, let's go ahead and get back to the video. With the Pixel 10 Pro XL now supporting up to 25-watt wireless charging, I ended up picking up the PixelSnap wireless charger stand, which is now Qi 2, and it outputs 25 watts fast charging. So the phone aligns nicely with the stand, and you can enable a screensaver, which looks pretty nice. Now jumping into the camera, the Pixel 10 Pro XL keeps the same hardware setup as last year with a familiar triple camera layout. The image quality is mostly unchanged, still delivering sharp and detailed shots in most situations. However, I did notice that the colors can look slightly more washed out in certain lighting conditions. The HDR is enabled by default, which helps brighten up images and it brings out more details in the shadows. Now during the night, the Pixel continues to shine with its excellent night sight mode. Photos come out crisp with impressive detail, although in very low light scenes you might notice some banding in the sky. One of the standout additions this year is the new 100x ProRes Zoom. It's a digital zoom that kicks in after the 5x optical zoom, and Google uses generative AI to enhance the clarity. The phone analyzes the image and it fills in the missing details. It takes a few seconds to process, but the results are surprisingly good. It's not perfect, but most of the time it delivers impressive results. I can definitely see this being useful when you're trying to read a sign that's far away. And these are a few shots that I captured over the past 2 months. So I personally didn't end up using the 100x zoom very often. I mostly just did it for testing. So I normally stuck around the 10x to 20x range since that produced really good images that I could still share without losing much quality. Although the AI enhancements are great, I still would like to see Google update the actual camera hardware next year. So the 20x zoom on video also looks really good, and this is very usable footage. I am also surprised that the video has some decent stabilization when it's zoomed in that far. Overall, the Pixel 10 Pro XL brings a nice performance bump over last year's model. You're getting better thermals, faster wireless charging, a brighter display, a slightly larger battery, an upgraded CPU, and those new magnets for pixel snaps are all solid improvements. If you are someone who doesn't do heavy gaming or video editing on your phone, then I definitely recommend it if you're looking to upgrade. If you're interested in picking one up, I will leave the link below in the description. Alright, so that does it for today's video. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to drop a like if you found the video helpful, and subscribe for more tech content, and I will talk to you on the next one.